Hello and welcome to March West Junction TMD, and today I'm going to do a bit of weathering. Now I call this lazy weathering, and the reason for that is all you need is a knife, a couple of pastels that you get from one of your cheap shops like Poundland or something like that, and an old dishcloth sponge, and I just use some rail match frame dirt, which is 2402. So basically what I do is I scrape these off. Let's move them over there onto the mat, and this is just a cheap and cheerful way, and it's really quick. So I'll do that. That's the main rust colour. Then I add this one. Don't ask me what colours are, they're not advertised on the packaging. I mean, when you look at the actual pastel set, it's all the colours of the rainbow, but these two are the main colours I use, and occasionally I use a little bit of black in it just to darken it down. Now the results that I'm after is like this. Now this is one that I did a while ago and I did a video on it, but now I've changed my technique slightly to basically sponge over the model with this torn off bit of sponge from an old dish sponge with rail match frame dirt, and then go over it again with this sponge dipped into all this lot mixed up. And this is one that I've done earlier, bit of blue pizza for you, and as you can see it's quite a nice effect. Now, before everyone goes, oh, you've scrapped a good wagon, these wagons were the ones that I paid about £3 for. So that's why I've bought them for, so I could just mess about and weather them and have a little play. Now, this is a factory weathered Dapol one. Again, it was £3, £3.33 it worked out. And we'll have a go at weathering that on the camera. So to start off with, we get the rail match paint, just tip that in there. That's how lazy I am, I don't even put it in my palette. And then I just sponge over the areas that I want to weather. I don't even bother taking the wheels off. So it's mainly the underframe that's getting a weathering. So now I've done that, I'll get my sponge. Now the good thing about this and that using that paint, this is acrylic, so it dries pretty quick, and because you're using a powder, it helps it dry even quicker. And then basically I'll just sponge over. Just dabbing it everywhere, just to give it a bit more of a rust effect. And like I say, it dries the paint instantly, really. Just give it a wipe so you can still see some of the letterings. So just press a little bit harder so you can still show through. And that is basically it. Easy weathering, cheap and cheerful. And I think it looks okay. I know there's critics out there about different forms of weathering and how to achieve it best, but to me, I think that's quite good. And it gives it a texture as well, as you can see, as if the rust is actually bubbling up and corroding through. So that's it really. It's very simple. And what I'll do, I'll just go around the rest of the model doing the same, do a bit of the paint, and I think it's a vast improvement on the standard weathering that's modelled by Dapol, which is just a light spray over, and it gives you instant results. You can go as heavy as you want or as light as you want. Do a little bit on the ends, not too much though, to give it a bit more of a neglected look. and it's just that simple. And it's really cheap. Like I say, the pastels, I don't know if I paid £1 or £2 for them. And because you can't say Poundland anymore, everything's £1. It's not, it's all over the shop. And that's done as far as I'm concerned. Now you can spray it with a matte varnish, but to be honest, I don't handle them that much. A little bit too much there. And that's the results you get. So it gives you the texture of rust, not just painted on. Still a little bit of shininess there if it's drying, but when it dries, it will dry matte. And I hope you agree, that's a vast improvement. Go back to this wagon that I did earlier. This one's heavily weathered, so it gives you that appearance of a heavily weathered wagon. And this was my first attempt a while ago, which again is heavily weathered, which I think's quite easy and cheap way of doing it. What I have done as well, these are the 08 shunter wheels from Westhill Wagon Works, and that's the product. And what I've decided to do with these, I painted them first with a rail match. That's the number, and it's dark rust. Well, to be honest, it is a light colour really. And then what I've done is done the same thing, gone over it with the frame dirt, that's the code, with this sponge, and then done the same, scraped a load of this out, and then gone over it. So each one's got like a rust effect, but it's been taken off a condemned wagon. So that's another use I use for it. Now, all this on the mat won't go to waste. What I'll do, I'll brush that all into a little container, and it can be used again. But to be honest, you don't waste that much anyhow. Something I've started to work on is the roof of this wagon. It's got to be matted off because the grey that I used was a bit glossy, and I've put a bit of rust on it. And then the idea is to go over with a bit of matte varnish, matte spray, and get the sheen out of it, and hopefully that'll look like an old covered steel roof that's blistering through when I've finished. And I'll show you more of that at a later date. Okay, just before we go, I've just done a couple more wagons off the camera. Now these are what I've done before, and that was including one of my previous videos on the weathering, and using my original technique. And this is the new technique, and I just don't overdo it. I'll just do around the edges where the welds are and things like that, where it might have got knocked up, something like that. And then obviously the underframe, and this was a previous one, and I've just done this one as well. One of these is Hornby. I think this is the Hornby one, that's the Dapol one, and I think it improves them, and that's why I buy these wagons. Like I said in a previous video, I picked them up for just under £4, £3.33 they work out, and they're quite good just for practicing on and getting a feel for weathering. And I like using these pastels because, like I said before, it does give it that texture, so it's not just flat, if you get what I mean, which is what you get off the Batman weathering and Dapol weathering. There's actual texture to it, it's actually grainy, and I think it improves it. I know other people disagree, and I do get comments when I do weathering, oh, don't destroy the wagons and things like that. But if it was a brand new mint wagon in the box, I wouldn't really do it. But because these aren't brand new mint in the box, some of them got a few little scuff marks. I mean, these were free from Dapol. I made them up myself, I had to put the couplings on. That cost me the couplings and the wheels, but the underframes are free, and they were moulded rejects. Sorry, not that one, that one. That's why it's got that bit of plastic in the middle. So I only play about with the stuff that I feel is already surplus, if you get what I mean. So the next thing I'll be doing to these is weathering the inside of them, but I want to add some more weight to these, similar to them, and then try and put like a load in there or something. I'm not sure what kind of load to put in them. If anyone's got any ideas, I know the coal hoppers, but I'd like to go away from putting coal in them, but and put something else in. So if anyone else out there knows what they used to carry other than coal, please add it to the comments below. Okay, that brings me to the end of this video, and I've just popped the wagons onto the layout, March West Junction TMD, and as you can see, I think the weathering is quite effective. Now, I think it improves it from the original model, especially the original weathering. I think there's a vast improvement, but that's a matter of opinion, and I'm happy with it, and that's what's important. As long as you're happy with it yourself, then that's half the battle. I've enjoyed doing it. Like I say, I've used wagons that have been from toy fairs that are literally a few quid, £3 or £4, and I think they've turned out pretty good. So thank you for stopping by and watching this video. Hope you've learned something from it, and please feel free to comment below. If you'd like to hit the like button, it'd be much appreciated, and share if you feel that you've got a friend or a colleague that'd be interested in these tutorials that I do of how to, I call them. And if you're new to this channel, then hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. It's free, you don't get charged. I don't do Patreon or anything like that, and it just helps with the growth of the channel. So thank you very much for stopping by. I'll see you again at the next one. Please stay safe. Bye for now.